Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another fabulous episode of Ghost Education 101. We are super excited to have our guest joining us today. But before we get started, hello, Philip. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I was rushing. I got out of work late, and then there was a ton of traffic, but I'm good. We're here.
Yep, I was the same way. I haven't worked out of the house in 10 plus years, and I started a job outside of the house, and I was supposed to work till 7, and I didn't get done until 7:15. So I'm
Oh, yeah.
freaking out. I'm like, I'm not going to get home in time to get this all set up, but I made it too. So
You
now I
made
know
it.
how you feel before we do our show every week.
It's like, gotta get home, gotta get home, gotta get home. Yeah.
Exactly. But everybody who's watching, we do have some fabulous guests joining us. We have Craig and David, and welcome to the show. Super excited. I have a ton of questions for you, but I know you guys said you had questions for us.
We do.
I've got questions.
Well, the one question I did want to ask you guys before we really did get started is your not documentaries, your shows that you guys, the movies that you make. I think one of them was The Evil at the End of the Street. What
Oh, Lord. Scared me to death. I
what
had to
gives
fast forward, honestly, through a little bit of it because I was freaked out.
Well, that's good.
that's their goal, it sounds like.
Yeah, I'm like, no, something's going to happen. Yeah.
Um, but what gives you guys the inspiration for your shows? And also, I mean, can you give us a little background on how you guys got started?
Go ahead, Greg.
Well, David and I met through a mutual friend that tried for, oh my gosh, well over a year to have David get a hold of myself, a gentleman by the name of Todd Chase. And Todd kept telling David, get a hold of Craig Ahrens and a year passes. So finally, David got a hold of me and I had a script. Well, let's just say I thought I had a script, Evil Down the Street. And so I met David, and I first met him as an attorney. My background before becoming a filmmaker, mortgage banker for years and years and years. And one thing in lending, you would never do any program, go out with anything without a legal opinion. So our in-house legal staff, they would always review everything before we'd go out for compliance sake. So before ever doing a film, I wanted to make sure that I had legal representation, that somebody to make sure we're doing anything kosher. So that's why I first met David. And through the course of our conversation, I come to find out he's a graduate of UCLA School of Drama. He's an acting coach. He's a writer. He's written screenplays and novels, all of these things. And so my mind is going, like I'm thinking, you're probably the only attorney on the planet with this background. So David asked for me to send him the script. And I said, okay, fine, I would. And so he started making suggestions about the script. So many so that I had to stop saying thank you and saying, hey, I have to put you down as a co-writer. This is, I'm starting to feel guilty, and that's not an emotion I particularly enjoy. So I put him down as a co-writer. And I was going to be directing it. And looking at David's resume and mine, it's like, really, this doesn't make any sense. I said, well, do you want to direct Evil Down the Street? And his attitude was, oh, yeah, hey, that's totally fine. I thought, hey, that's great. And there was a character in the film, Father Bob. You know where this is going now, right? I said, David, what do you think about playing Father Bob? He goes, I'd love to. So that's how the whole thing started. And, we knew it was with divine intervention just because of the whole way the thing worked out. And that's how it all started. And, 4 films later, and we're kicking around ideas for our 5th film. Here we are.
David, I'd like to add something to what Craig said.
I was going to say, what did I miss?
This wasn't just a story that he came up with. This was based on an actual family. It's a real story.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And when I first got the script, Craig had somebody else working on it with him, and they had all kinds of gimmicks in it. Heads turning and wall crawling, and
Oh yeah.
And I said, brother, you don't need any of that. This is horrendous, just as it is.
Story.
So we struck all that stuff out. I mean, I don't know about you, but if I heard weird music and came down the stairwell and saw my mom stripping and dancing to some invisible person, that would weird me out.
Yep.
So
especially my mother.
Yeah, mine too. A little short, little fat lady. It would not work. So I was like, wow, Craig, let's just tell the story for what it is, because that's what it is.
Yeah.
And that's how we got together. But it was a blessing. I can't say how grateful I am to know Craig Ahrens.
Mhm.
He certainly brought a great change in my life in a number of ways. And here we are today, contemplating our fifth film. So yeah, we try to base our films on things that are pretty true
Yeah.
Mhm.
or close to true.
I'm
Well,
glad you mentioned that, because so many times all that gimmicky junk just ruins the whole thing. I like a good, scary story. I don't need heads spinning around and scary nuns popping out of the dark. And I don't need all that. I need the story to scare the crap out of me.
Mhm.
Mhm.
That's,
Yep.
you know, that's why I had to fast forward something, because I kept thinking something was coming.
And the
Well,
thing
no, I
too
don't want
is
to see that. I don't want to see it. Yeah.
the real story is sometimes scarier than what Hollywood can put on anything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
oh yeah, very scary. The Crumbs, that was loosely based on a strange family,
Mhm.
the Bloody Benders.
Yeah.
That's what they called them.
Oh,
These people had a way station out in the middle of nowhere back in the 1800s. I believe it was the late 1800s, early 1900s. Anyway, travelers would stop. They'd
Mhm.
come on in and rest. We'll take care of your horses and all that good stuff. They set them on a place next to this curtain, and then the male son would come up behind them while they're eating dinner and slam them in the head with a hammer,
yeah.
kill them. And this is true. All that
Yes,
building.
I've heard that. Yep.
I was like, wow, these people are weirdos. You know, if you see the Crumbs, they're pretty strange too.
Yeah.
You know, the
Now
Crumbs
we're
is about a family. They're just
Were
a
both
family
of
who's trying to
you
protect each other. That's all it
big,
is.
big
Mhm.
fans of scary movies your whole lives? I mean that's a
I
specific
have
genre
been,
to, you love that. So is that
well,
something your whole life?
Did you freeze, David?
I think we lost
oh,
them.
there we are.
There he is.
I have been off and on. I'm a fan of movies,
Yeah.
all kinds of movies, anything from comedies and romances to
Mhm.
adventure, mystery, drama, horror, doesn't matter. If I like it, I like it.
Mhm.
But yeah, the first time I literally got the crap scared out of me was watching Frankenstein at 6 years old in the theater.
Yeah.
And I was too scared to get up and go to the bathroom. Now I'm 70, so I can tell this story.
Uh-oh.
He's crazy.
Yeah, he's having some.
Mm.
Well, I think where David was going with this is that we're 2 years apart in our age. I'll be 69 on my next birthday. So we were raised in the era of really good black and white horror films.
Yes. Yes.
Frankenstein, Werewolf. He's gonna have to call back in, Mummy, and all of that. And so I'm going to say we were kind of spoiled from the standpoint of not realizing at the time that we were watching a lot of classic horror films.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you have Alfred Hitchcock, and
Mhm.
we prefer to, in filmmaking and acting too, we're less is oftentimes more, like to your point, Philip, all the gimmicky stuff, right? It just kind of gets in the way of things.
Yeah.
Where the actual story is more horrific than, other things, other there he is.
There.
Sorry about that. I don't know what happened.
I just told the last joke I knew, David. So back to you.
You
Well,
go-
I think StreamYard edited. They knew where I was going with the story. Let's just put it this way. That was my introduction to horror movies, watching Frankenstein. But yeah, I like a good horror movie, but I don't like chop films. We don't make chop films.
yeah. That's not interesting to me.
No, me either. That to me, it's rather sick. I won't do that. I don't like reality shows, and if anybody here does, please don't be offended. To me, that's a perversion. You might as well be peeping through somebody's window. I don't get it. Go out and live a life. Quit watching somebody else live one. So I'm very big on stories. Craig and I both. We watch a lot of different movies. Right now, I talked him into something called Outlander.
Oh yeah.
It is one of the best, well done series I've ever seen.
Yeah.
The acting, the directing, the sets, everything about it. The production value is at its highest always. I've watched the entire 7 seasons twice.
Oh my gosh.
Well, the reason why is I study this. So I watch the first one for enjoyment, and then I go back and I start dissecting it. And how did they do this? Exactly.
Yeah.
Why did they choose this over that?
Yeah.
That's the way Craig and I work. He's never been to film school. I've never been to film school. I studied theater, directing, acting for the stage. I had somebody ask me, how'd you learn to do films? I said, well, I watch films every day, 2-3 films a day often, and I study them. The difference between a stage and a film is simple. A stage is set for an audience in seats. So anywhere in that theater, from the audience perspective, they should be able to see everything.
Yes.
So sight lines, etc. So when I'm directing stage, I go and I sit various parts of the house looking for that type of thing. Well, guess what the eye is? It's the camera lens.
Camera lens, yeah.
That's the audience. So once I realized that, I said, oh, this is easy. They're just taking and they're looking at different perspectives. And that's how I learned to direct. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think I'm some great director. I think I'm adequate.
But there's natural instincts and natural talent that you just got to have to be able to pull off and do what you've done. I mean, it wouldn't be as good as it is if you didn't have natural talent.
Well, thanks for that. I appreciate it.
Well, there's also one thing that David did mention where I have a lot of respect for play directors, play actors. I'm a film actor. I like when a director like David says, okay, cut. I like that, but why don't we try it like this?
Yeah.
Fine. You get the way you want it. A live stage production scares the hell out of me. I don't want to be that guy that everybody's looking at it like you just totally botch your. And David has some good stories as a stage actor.
Oh, I can. Yeah.
People have lost their lines, and he's had to, dance around and get them back on. But it's it's not my thing.
But it happens in film too. Evil Down the Street. At the ending, where Father Bob is confronting her about it, and they get into this tussle. I like the actress; she's a nice person. I had nothing against her, but she was just burnt out, and she forgot the direction and her lines. Now I'm the director, but I'm also the actor in that scene.
Yeah,
we know they're shooting me from about here up, from about my midsection up. It's a medium shot. So I am watching her and I'm giving her direction underneath the camera frame. Go that way, go that way. I'm giving her lines that have the basis of her line in it, and she still wasn't getting it. So finally, I just said, okay, I need to end this. This is getting strung out. It isn't working. So I did something she wasn't absolutely expecting, nowhere, no how. And it brought her some reality, which worked. And that's when you see me going, and I just kind of throw her onto the sofa.
Yeah.
She had no idea that was coming.
So people had to naturally respond to that. And that natural response is what you really want.
Exactly.
Exactly right. She was happy, but a little bummed that I did that because she wasn't expecting it. And I was like, well, I was a little bummed that you forgot all your lines. You didn't know where you were going. But I understood it because she really went through a lot, and she was in almost every scene.
Yeah.
So it was rather difficult for her, and she was a new actor. We bet our
money. A good lesson.
Yeah, she's gone on to do other things since, and believe it or not, now she's teaching acting.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Hey, I don't know.
What's going on with the strike and you guys? How does that affect you? Is the writer's strike over now? I heard something about the writer's part was over, but the actor's strike is still on. Do you know anything? Can you clarify that part for me?
The writer's strike is now over.
Okay.
The actors, no. And as indie filmmakers, we have hired SAG-AFTRA actors and non-union actors. So for
Non-union.
us, it's all about performance, and either you are the character or you're not the character. And like in our case, David writes all of our scripts. So thankfully, David did not go on strike. I would have,
Yeah.
I would have
You wouldn't have paid me anyway.
I would have been concerned, and for a bunch of reasons. So for us, we just kind of went about business.
Oh, cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, I live in Atlanta, and the filming's everywhere and blocking traffic everywhere.
I don't
Well,
blame
and
them.
the problem with that, the strike like that, it's the ripple effect. It affects the caterers, the prop man,
Exactly.
everybody,
Yeah.
And so by the time it gets rectified and everything gets worked out, as an industry, the subsidiary industries, all that roll up under entertainment, let's say, you're talking billions of dollars, 5, 6,
Mhm.
7 billion. It's tough. It's really tough.
And I've got a friend that does hair for the movies, and he's been out of work and asking people if they need haircuts. He'll come to their house. He's to make ends meet because got no work.
That's my point. Sad.
And you know something, the industry's kind of strange because there are so many actors, most of them newbies, or even some of them who have been around for a while, who will work for free
Yeah.
Mhm.
just to get some credits and get them to. That is absolutely wrong, in my opinion.
Mhm.
And I speak this as a union man. I've been a union steward in an industry, Communication Workers of America, IBEW, and I understand all that whole process. When you cheapen yourself, you lose respect for all of those who will pay you.
Mhm.
Why should they pay you? They get you for free.
Yeah.
So I never work for free, and I always insist, and we pay all of our actors. We don't ask anybody to do one thing for us for free. Our PAs, the production assistants, they get paid. Everybody gets paid, period. And we pay everybody else before we pay ourselves.
Now, do you have investors? I mean, I don't know the process, but when you have a script and you want to do this movie, where do you go ask for the money? Because good God, I know it's got to be extremely expensive.
Well, that is a very touchy issue because most people think they're going to invest in something that's going to make them a millionaire.
Oh, yeah.
Not a chance.
Yeah.
Not a chance. So the people that invested with us on our very first film, Evil Down the Street, all we had was a script and our backgrounds.
Yeah.
They invested in Craig and me.
Yeah.
Not the script. We told them what we would do, what we would give, and we're pretty thorough. We do business plans on everything. We spend a year approximately in pre-production planning.
Yeah.
Before we shoot. And we've shot every one of our films under 16 days.
Jeez, really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because it's particularly planned out.
Yeah.
And people ask me for advice, Craig and I, and that's what we tell them. Plan.
Yeah.
Down to the last detail. And then guess what? You get on set and there's something you didn't plan for.
Mhm.
There's something you forgot. No matter how well you do it.
Oh, yeah, always something.
Or let's say you have everything planned, you didn't forget anything. Something unforeseen, out of your control, happens.
Yeah.
And it's like starting a parade. You can't say, okay, back it up. Everybody back to one, and we're going to start the parade over again. Once you start a parade, you got a parade on your hands. And once you start shooting the film, you can't say, "Yeah, faked you guys out. We're only going to shoot." No, it's just figure it out and keep it moving.
Mhm.
Yeah. Now, like later on down the road, years from now, and when your movies show up like on the streaming channels like Tubi and stuff like that, how does that work? Do y'all get any money for that? I mean, how does that work? Because I watch Tubi all the time because they have great paranormal stuff.
Yeah.
But
we get paid.
Okay.
We don't do this for free. Like we don't expect anybody else to work for us for free.
Mm-hmm.
So now here's the rub. We'll make about 8 to 10 cents per hour of viewing. Per hour of viewing. So that means you have to have a whole lot of people watching this thing for you to make any kind of money.
Yeah.
The Evil Down the Street paid off all the investors within the first year.
Mm.
They all got their principals back.
Well, that
And for the
sounds good
last,
to me
what,
for a
4
year.
years now, they've been receiving residuals
Yeah.
on it. So they've made money. Now, a couple of the other films have been struggling.
Yeah.
And Craig and I think that, like The Crumbs, we think it's a better film, better acting, but it's struggling. And the reason I don't know, if I did, I would certainly try to rectify it. We do all our own marketing.
Mhm.
The distributors that we're with, they're indie distributors, indie rights, and they don't do much marketing for you. But we have a great split on the money.
Mhm.
So fortunately, Craig is a diligent marketer. He handles
We
the
both are.
majority of all the admin work that we do. His background as a mortgage banker. Now, I got administrative background, but it's not something I really care about doing, and he cares more about doing that. So we're
Yeah.
so compatible that way.
That's great. Yeah.
That's what makes it work. And we're not working on our egos.
Yeah.
I write something and we don't like it, I toss it. Whole scripts. I wrote myself out of a script. I wrote myself in as a lead, and we were going to shoot it. And then one day I said, nobody wants to see my old butt doing this stuff. Let's get a younger actor. So I rewrote it and wrote it for a younger actor. Took myself right out of it. It's not about
You got about the product. Yeah.
Yeah, it's about entertaining, informing, and hopefully enlightening, in that order. That's our mission.
If I could add to that, David. Also, when we're done, we've shot the film, and we're looking at the rough cuts, or even let's say we're in several rounds of editing. If a scene just isn't working for us, how it goes. That David writes every scene where there's a conflict, and if there's a scene that just it's nice, but it doesn't add anything to the story, out it goes. And I want to add something, Phil, to what you said in regards to Tubi, and like with David's point, 8 to 10 cents an hour. And it takes literally, as you could imagine, millions of minutes to make any kind of money.
Yeah.
The other thing is, which is out of our control, are these algorithms. Like you on Tubi. Well, if you like this film, you like that film.
Yes.
And so like Evil Down the Street, it's serendipitous. We do our job. It goes on the streaming platforms. We market the heck out of our films, largely in Facebook and groups. We do that all the time.
That's how I've met you.
So you have to have that engagement, right? And with that engagement, you're hoping it triggers something in these streaming platforms that on your end, when you're watching Tubi or Freevee or whatever your streaming platform is, the film pops up. So there are parts of this business that are out of the control of the indie filmmaker, and that certainly is one of them.
But if they want your film, like on Tubi or Freevee, how do they get it? Do they come to you and say, we want it, and then you do a contract? How does that work? Because
our distributor does that.
You got your distributor. Okay.
They contact all the different platforms, present the film, and then they enter into an agreement. That's a separate agreement. We have nothing to do with those.
Okay.
Our agreements are strictly with our distributor, but our distributor is straight up transparent.
Yeah.
Not only do they send us all the information regarding our films and what they've earned on the various distributed platforms, but they send us every single client they represent. All get to measure against each other.
Yeah.
So they're free out there. And I got to tell you, sometimes you're just amazed by the amount of money and why. And then other times you're like, oh my God, there's only 5 cents. What are we going to do?
Go buy yourself some bubble gum, buddy.
So like, you make a film and you hand it to the distributor and say, here. And then they do their thing. And is that how that works?
Correct, Philip. They will go to the various platforms like what David said. You'll be notified once it's up. And then once it's up on our end, then we will take the links and send it out through the social media platforms that we're active with. Now, Indie Rights, they never gave any assurances like, oh, we do all this marketing for you. They maintain a presence, certainly in social marketing, social media marketing, but they're representing all of their titles, like 1,200 titles or whatever. So, they're trying to show love to all of their titles that are doing well. only films that David and I care about are our films with them. So, and we get that. They have a business to run, but that's why David and I are very active in promoting our films.
Yeah. And speaking of algorithm, this is something I'm learning about just with Google and trying to get my team's website coming up, and this stuff. I'm too old for all this algorithm. But
What did you say?
the title, like you said, The Crumbs isn't doing as well. Should you always put the title in for make the genre of the movie, like The Crumbs of the Evil, or those key words that these algorithms pick up? This is a crap I'm learning about. Is these words that
SEO sucks.
Well, and to your point, Philip, David and I have had this conversation. What if it was the evil crumbs down the street? Because for that reason, like in Demon Fighter, the evil demon fighter on the hill, because there is something to be said, like the crumbs. Well, that sounds nice. And if you're thinking about seeing a horror, well, it's more of a drama, but let's say a horror film. Yeah. So there's probably something to be said by what your comment is. And we're not big. Look, David and I we're by appearance sake, look, we were clearly older than you by a good margin. So when you start talking SEOs, it's like, okay, in our eyes, at least I won't speak for David, but mine rolled to the top of my head. It's like, all right, that's above my pay grade. I don't know about that, but you probably have. I think you're onto something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have my Barbara Walters filter on, so I'm.
And don't let him fool you. No, just kidding.
That's a good one.
This is a strange business to be in. You have to really enjoy it because it is a difficult thing to accomplish.
Yeah.
It's art that's being handled by a multitude of people.
Mm-hmm.
I paint. It's just me and the canvas. I make a mistake, I paint over it.
Yeah.
No big deal. Can't do that with film. So that's why I really insist upon the pre-production planning being as extensive as it is.
Yeah.
Because that's knowing where you're going to go. It's like I tell people, how many different ways to Denver, right?
Yeah.
Well, you can take the northern route, southern route, train, plane, hitchhike, bus, motorcycle. I mean, you can get there all kind of different ways. The object is to get there.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So we always feel that the more we can take care of up front before we actually shoot, the better off we are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You can't count on people to have the same enthusiasm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the people in this industry are very not narcissistic, but borderline.
Yeah.
You could just tell by them wanting to get their picture taken all the time.
Everybody wants to be a star.
There's a lot about meism.
About meism, exactly right.
Yeah.
And on set, nobody's more important than the caterer.
Yeah.
And we don't feed everybody pizza and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We might have it once or twice, something like that. But we actually hire caterers to come in and provide meals, hot meals. If you're there for breakfast, you're getting breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Mm-hmm. And we'll provide for accommodations as well as travel because we think the only way to get professional is to be professional.
I see a hand up.
I was going to say, that's not common in this field. I don't know how many times I've been asked to do different shows and they won't pay for me to get there.
Oh.
Well, you see, for like us doing this with you folks, God, we're flattered that you want to talk to us.
Yeah.
Without folks like you, we don't have an audience.
Yeah.
We love you guys, man. I mean, the podcast audience, you folks are great.
Yeah.
And you're talking about things that we love.
Right.
So we would come on your podcast if we had to spend our own dime, which we do. It doesn't matter. But for you folks,
afterwards, it's okay.
You're professionals at this.
And that dime is valuable to us because that's what we made last quarter on the crumbs. So that's just not an ordinary dime.
Yeah,
that's a whole hour of viewing.
I'm totally kidding.
But I've got a question. Like the house that you used in The Evil Down the Street, did you have to rent the house? Do your friends and family let you use their locations and things, or do you have to pay for everything? Because I'd like, here, use my house.
Nobody's that generous.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, they know that you're actually paying people they want to be paid. In the house that we rented, we want to rent it.
Yeah.
I don't want anybody to lend me their house because then the
Okay.
first thing they want to do is play director or come in. If they get mad at you, they want to cut the film. No. Where we shot The Evil Down the Street, I had to tell the owner, this is my set.
Yeah.
And you have to leave. That didn't go over too well.
Yeah.
It was rather tense at that time, you guys.
Hey, but these people.
Well, because she read the script and said, I have a few suggestions as to the script. Now I'm there, right?
This
And I
first
know
day,
Dave,
first day
and
on
I'm
set.
thinking, we haven't even started shooting the film yet. I'm thinking, oh baby Jesus, this is not good. But yeah, it was a bumpy start.
It was, and I have to admit, I'm not the most amicable guy at that time when I'm working. So when she came up to me and she says, I have some notes for you, and she said it like that. I'm very good at mimicking people. I have some notes for you that I think are important. It includes a lot of blood across the walls and stuff like that. I said, oh, let me see them. She gave them to me. I walked over to the garbage can and dropped them in the garbage can. I said, thank you. Have a nice day.
Well, if you ever want to do the horror remake of Sunset Boulevard, I will play Norma Desmond for free.
Are you ready for your close-up?
Yes.
You know what? That movie always weirded me out.
My favorite
the
movie.
reason, how can a dead guy narrate his own death? The premise was that they found him in the pool, dead, shot. Yeah. And so how does he get to talk about that? I always thought it was a flaw in the movie.
He's a spirit. They're around. Trust me, they can talk to you.
Well, you know what? When I first saw the movie, had they done something like that,
it
would have worked for me. Like say they opened up on a graveyard, even in the daytime. It doesn't have to be nighttime. At the daytime, and we hear the narration, and we see the marker on the grave, who it is. And then it pulls out and goes to the set. I would have swallowed that.
Well, let's do that one. That's what I want to do.
That wouldn't be too bad, actually. I have a script you might really like. It's called The Preacher. Just Preacher.
Well, I'm an ordained minister, so I'm right there. I can do that.
Well, you're going to love this one. It's about a guy who believes his mission that God had sent him. He's a preacher. That his mission is to avenge all those that use God's name in a blasphemous way, who pretend that they're talking to God, who pretend that God gives them messages. All this, and I wrote the script, everything in there regarding the Bible is straight out of that. Okay, straight out of it. I do extensive research before I say something.
Right.
And he goes around punishing all those would-be preachers, the people like these mega churches. And he punishes them in horrible, harsh ways.
Oh, that's
just. I really like the film. Well, it's not a film yet, the script, but it's a very expensive script.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why we haven't done it, because it's expensive. I even got the two guys who I would like to cast for the two leads, the father and son preachers. They're black ministers.
Yeah.
Yeah, big guys. Big guys. As a matter of fact, if you see the Crumbs, the guy that plays Lenny, the black gentleman plays Lenny. You can't miss him.
Yeah.
I would like him. He's good for the part. He's not a bad actor at all. He's a student of mine, frankly. And I told him, I said, hey, here's the script. If we ever get around to doing it, it's your part to lose. So if somebody auditions better, and he knows this about me, I'll cast the other person rather than him, and he knows that.
Now, when you're casting a movie, where do you go? How do you put the word out you're looking for actors for certain scripts?
There are several platforms that we'll post on.
Okay.
Casting About, Actors Access. There's total probably 4 that we will put the notice out. and those that we think from a physical standpoint have it. Now, not always. I mean, it comes down to your acting ability.
Yeah.
Then we will send to them a scene, and they will do their audition on tape. And then
Okay.
David, I will knock out the ones that make no sense and
Yeah.
forward on to David the ones that are kind of in the bonus round, and then we'll discuss them. And there's been some actors that, probably actually several, that I'll say, Dave, it's up to you. I mean, if you can work with them, go for it, because they just don't quite have the credits,
Yeah.
And that's where David's genius comes into play, because we were talking about actors earlier, and there have been so many times I hear David coaching an actor on a scene and all of this, and I just walk away. I just don't have the patience of all the. I don't.
Yeah.
And like David would say, like he can be abrupt and this and that, but he has a way of communicating to an actor and getting what they want.
Yeah.
And there's many a time I'll just walk off set and they ask some coffee. I just can't. I can't deal with it. But getting back to your point, those are the platforms. And if they want to send us their demo reel and these type of things, it's not really the interest to us at first. That we want to know, can you play this role? I mean, okay, your demo reel is your best moments. Okay, we get that. We want your best moment, and we're looking to cast.
Yeah.
And if you're the right person, personally, David and I are excited if their credits are almost like non-existent, and their first film was with us, then good for them, because everybody has their first opportunity, let's say.
And they're not bringing bad habits.
Yeah, we don't play favorites, and ultimately, if David feels he can work with them, then paper covers rock. Then there we go.
Yeah. Now, do you meet them when they get to that stage? You like them? Do you meet them in person to make the final decision? Because in video and person can be two different things.
Well, what I generally do is after they've done an initial audition, I'll look at it. If I like them and I think they got some acting ability, then I'll tell them, okay, I want you to take the same script and now I'll make some changes. And I'll make them drastic.
Little test.
And I said, now get it back to me right away. If they take 2 or 3 days, they're already out.
Oh.
If they get it back to me like immediately, and I've had some come back to me like within an hour or so.
They want it,
with everything that I asked. I'm like, okay. The young lady and the older lady, Maria Olsen and Chelsea Yerkowitz in The Crumbs, both of them were like that. Chelsea blew me away. She's an excellent actress.
Yeah.
So is Maria Olsen. Jeff Hatch.
Yeah.
All 4 of the principals were really, really good.
Yeah.
So and that's how I cast them. I don't need to meet them in person.
Yeah.
I gave, like Chelsea, I gave her a thing. I said, okay, this woman, this character is a product of incest. And her grandmother, or her mother, is her grandmother. And her father is, well, you see how it goes. The son and the mom.
I'm from the South. That's pretty typical sometimes.
I didn't want to talk about any big ear stories.
No hate mail.
But I told Chelsea, I says, okay, now she's got a problem. I go, and as a result of that, I go, so it's a foot problem. She came back, she had it just wired. I mean, you didn't have to tell her twice. So I will cast an unknown if I think I can direct him.
Yeah.
And that's all.
They got to start somewhere. I mean, they could be super talented, but they need to start. I mean, sure.
That's it. They need to start someplace.
Meryl Streep started somewhere. She had her first movies at some point. So
when I first started, the only parts I was ever looked at for were bad guys or cops. Mexican. You either a bad guy or you're a cop, which is another bad guy with a gun and a badge. Okay. So I'm like, okay, all right. And it took a while to get out of that. I did a television series. It was short-lived with Carl Weathers, shot in Oakland, California, called Fortune Date. And I played Detective Martinez. So, but that's the way casting goes. Yeah. I'm not going to play a Chinese guy. Professor Yin, not going to happen. Or Mr. Yerkowitz, not going to happen.
30s or 40s you could have, but
maybe, yeah. But so you know,
Road
and
to
that's true.
Shanghai, maybe, but
Yeah, I'm not Mickey Rooney who can play Chinese. Under the yum yum tree. Oh, it was terrible. Watch out the lane!
Oh my
Leave
god!
it down
Yeah,
there!
that's funny. I love those movies, 30s,
Mhm.
40s. That was my favorite.
Yeah, there was some of them were really good. The noir films were really good, and then depends
Yeah.
on who it was.
Mhm.
Robert Taylor, pretty well known actor of his time, did this film called Women Westward or Women Westward, something like that. A cowboy western film.
Yeah.
Very good. The acting is excellent. The storyline is excellent. I mean, a really good movie. And I'll watch old movies for that purpose. A story is a story. I don't care when it takes place.
Yeah.
You know, but you study those and you go, wow, those were the actors.
Mm.
You know, those are the guys that could bring something to life.
Right.
They had dialogue. It wasn't special effects.
Right.
right.
I mean,
I like
when they
Exactly
fell off
right.
a horse,
dialogue and words. Yeah.
yeah, they fell off a horse. They really fell off the horse.
Mhm.
I mean,
That's
it
right.
was real stuff. A wagon went over a cliff. It went over a cliff.
That's right.
Four horses, no
I
animal
admire
rights in
that
those
stuff.
days. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
Have you
can't always
seen?
run
I haven't seen it, so don't tell me anything. But I've heard it's good. Is Haunting in Venice? Have you seen it?
Haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, here it's excellent.
Is it Venice, Los Angeles, or Venice?
Venice, Italy. Yeah, it's
Okay.
a take on a Inspector Perot. You know, Agatha Christie.
Right.
It's supposed to be
Very cool. I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, I saw where Tina Fey is in it, so I thought maybe it's a comedy. But I've seen like the trailer, and it's like she's playing a serious role. And I thought, you know, I just want to see that to see how that all came out, right?
Yeah.
And it seemed kind of strange to me.
Well, Jackie Chan plays a serious role right now that's out there with Pierce Brosnan, I believe. And I forgot the name of the film, but he plays this part where his Brosnan plays an Irish militant, and they blow up this tavern.
You're right.
with
You're
Jackie
right.
Chan's daughter's in it.
Yeah.
Jackie is really good in it. And you know who else? Jet Li.
Oh,
Unleashed. If you ever see the movie Unleashed, it's with Morgan Freeman and Jet Li. And Jet Li is so good in this film. He does his martial arts stuff, but he's the one serious role I've seen him in where he's actually acting. And I really was impressed with his acting in this. He had me. I was believing him. So, you know, I think when they just get the chance, you know, I've done serious stuff. I would love to do comedy stuff. I did comedy stuff on stage, you know, and I like doing that, crazy stuff. But I'll tell you a secret. I was a mime.
Oh my God! Really?
Yeah, I was a mime. I actually studied with one of Marcel's students, a guy named Jeff Risk, who studied with Marcel in France, and I had the opportunity to study with him for a couple of years.
Oh wow!
And it was just something I was really into. I was into physical things.
Yeah.
Stunts, fighting, whatever it was, stage fighting, all that physical stuff. So mime was there. But I got to be honest, I don't think you could pay me enough money to do mime anymore.
Oh my God! See, I remember Shields and Yarnell's TV show as a kid. I mean, I watched it. I loved it. I loved her haircut for one thing. But
I remember that.
Yeah, that was a great show. But yeah, you couldn't do it today. But
yeah, that's, you know, the entertainment business is kind of strange. The performance business is kind of strange.
yeah,
Why people do it, I don't know. We're all creative. Every human being on the planet is creative. If you believe in God and you believe that God created us in his image, well, then we are naturally creators, period. And we do that throughout history. Man has been creating. So I'm always telling people, just some of us choose to express it outwardly.
yeah.
The rest of us, we tell our stories to ourselves, you know, but if it's in you and you can't stop it, it's coming out.
Right.
Yeah.
One way or the other, it's coming out. And when I finally admitted that to myself, after I was in law school, and I'm going, what the hell am I doing here?
Yeah.
But it was too late. I was a third year, and there you go.
Oh, third. Yeah.
Yeah, my first year, I made a movie and I did a television series. The second year, and I was in a jazz band. 10 years after that, I couldn't. I just can't not do it.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to explain it. You know, when somebody asks me, why are you always like painting or writing? I said, I have to. I said, what else am I going to do? I've seen every episode of Leave It to Beaver already. You know, so what am I going to do, right? But fortunately, I met Craig, and he's of like mind, and
Excellent.
I can run anything by him. We talk about everything. He's my brother. I've been blessed with finding one more brother in my life, and I got 6 brothers.
Oh, wow.
And I was an only child, so I didn't have a brother. So I waited a long ass time, and David showed up on our porch and said, "You're kind of a cute little thing. You want to come on in?" No, I'm kidding.
I had a little, grocery bag with me with my stuff.
Yeah, I said, and when I told my kids,
I
said, "I feel sorry for him. We got to feed him." And
now, how far do you live from each other?
What's that?
Miles? I don't know.
How far do you live from each other?
Probably what, David? 500 miles?
500 miles? I don't know.
Okay.
Well, it's kind of funny, and to your point, Philip, that we hadn't actually met in person until the day before we started shooting Evil Down the Street.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And because we did everything over the phone. I don't even think, David, we had done anything like this, that FaceTime stuff, right?
No, we didn't. It was all over the phone, working on our computers. We would have the phone there. We planned the whole film, set up schedules, everything, did everything, hired everybody, got it all ready. And the day before we started shooting, he picked me up at the airport, and I caught that look on his eye. He goes, "Well, you don't look like you sound." Because I'm going, really? What did I sound like? Because he's like 6'5". I'm like 5'8".
God, that's great.
So little Mutt and Jeff thing going on, right?
Yeah, so that's just one of those serendipitous things,
Yeah. It's like you've known each other in past life somewhere. You were
somewhere.
Yeah.
A
Well, it's like
another mother.
Philip and I, everybody's shocked that we've never met in person. And we've been doing this show over 3 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, where do you live, Heather?
I'm just south of Orlando, but north of Tampa.
Okay. And then Philip, you're in what, Georgia?
Atlanta.
Florida.
Yeah.
Oh, Philip's in Georgia.
Yeah. Wow, that's funny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But that's so cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, I like that. You become friends and mentors.
We text all the time and stuff.
So if I could, and if this is too off topic, but how did you two guys meet? And then from there saying, we should do a show together. How did that, what's the backstory there?
Well,
okay, well, moving on.
You want the nice version? No, we were doing this kind of format that somebody else had started, and they weren't very good with it. I'm going to be very polite.
Yeah.
And then basically during the pandemic, everything was canceled. Everybody's investigations were canceled. Paracons were canceled. Everything was canceled, and everybody was, isolating. I lived by myself. I was isolating, and it gets kind of claustrophobic after a while. And we just talked and said, why don't we do this format and do more of an educational show? Because there's a million shows on Facebook and YouTube, and we started out with the basics of paranormal and trying to teach the new and up and coming young investigators, and thought our audience is already captured at home because they're quarantined, so kind of started that way.
Cool. I'm going to share something with you. The Evil Down the Street. Okay, this weirded Craig and I out to no end.
Yeah.
One particular event, right in the middle of the film, they're in the library, and the dad comes in and he picks a book at random off the shelf and opens it up. And we filmed that page where he opened it up, and it says how to marry a demon.
Good Lord.
Now, let me tell you what's weird about this. We didn't know these people, and we didn't know their house, and we didn't know their library, and we didn't know that book. And I said, okay, we talked about the scene. I said, all right, no, you go in there, just grab any book at random and just kind of, thumb through it. He grabbed that book, and we were like, okay, this is too much. This is a little
Yeah.
And then another incident. Tell about the mirror, Craig.
Yeah. They there's this really large mirror off the entry, and they said permanently affixed to the wall. And they said, just be careful, but you can't really do anything because it's affixed, permanently. It was big. It was a really big mirror. We were shooting a scene upstairs, okay, and we heard this crash. And Dave and I looked at each other. We just knew it was the mirror and thinking, nobody is downstairs. How could this have happened? We're all upstairs. So we go downstairs, and the mirror came off the wall and went right down to just was sitting on the floor, still against the wall. It hadn't shattered, thank goodness. It was still intact, but it was off the wall.
Wow.
And the owners were just shocked, like, that's impossible. I said, well, it's not exactly totally impossible because we're looking at it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So have you heard from them recently?
Well, yeah, they never had a burning desire, Philip, to explore a part 2. So
I don't know why.
I think it was one and done. We got out of Dodge and we were, that's it.
You leave them a bundle of sage laying on the kitchen counter or something.
Exactly. Right.
Well, it gets weird.
Yeah.
We had a location where my office was and where the basement was. The basement that we shot in was over 100 miles away from the actual house.
Yeah, because it didn't look like it. Yeah.
It was in an old reform school.
Yeah.
That was shut down. Okay. We're up there at this place, and our sound engineer, he's off just recording various sounds, ambient sounds all over the place. And he goes into the main building. We're in this house that's separate from it with a full basement. Okay. 2 rooms in the basement, stairwell, creepy place. He's in this other building and he's recording all these weird sounds. He says, you wouldn't believe what I'm recording. And it's just totally weirded us out. We go, what is this? Well, we shined it on. Then my scene came up, Father Bob's scene, and we picked this room down where we're going to shoot it. I have to go down there with the makeup person. She's putting tattoos on me, cross on each arm, and a big one on my back because this guy's freaked out. Okay. And she puts these crosses on me. While she's doing it, we hear all this noise down this long hallway with rooms both left and right. And you know those big steel doors they use in these institutions? That's what's in this place. And she goes, what's that? I go, oh, she goes, there's nobody else here, right? And I go, no, just me and you. And she goes, that's a little weird. I'm getting a little weirded out about this place. I said, calm down. Let me go over there. She goes, no, don't go. I go, no, it's all right. So I walk down the hall and I go in each room and I'm talking loud. I go, there's nothing in here. I checked about maybe 8 rooms, 4 on each side. These are big rooms, by the way.
Yeah.
I come back out. She starts doing it. And then we hear, you know how when you push the handles on those doors, they make that noise? She totally weirded out. She goes, where's everybody else? Where are they? When are they coming over here? I started getting weirded out. I'm going, oh, damn, I hope soon. So I called. I said, hey, where are you guys? I go, oh, we're just about there. I said, kid over here. I'm telling you, the place was freaky. We were sitting in the house. You could see out this window. There's a huge tree with a swing on it, an old swing.
Yeah.
No wind or nothing. And it just starts moving.
I love it.
Well, and also in regards to this young lady, and she was really, really good. Our next film, which was The Crumbs, we reached out to her because she wanted to be our makeup artist.
Yeah.
We never heard from her. So no, we didn't.
She would not call us back.
No.
Oh, wow.
We even offered her more. Wouldn't call us back.
Wouldn't call us. So
I was going to ask you guys, have you ever had anyone quit because of paranormal activity you encountered?
Well, I mean, from that standpoint, she wouldn't work with us again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, but anybody to walk off, no. But when you're shooting, but as you guys, David looks, being a good actor, David's able to go still like this. It's kind of like Mitch McConnell of acting. And come on, David, come on, and he'll come back. But I have faith. But Now, but I think when they read our scripts, like the Crumbs and Love and Quarantine is also a dramedy. But let's just say with Demon Fighter, even on the street, they read the script, so they know what's kind of going on. And we did have one person say didn't really want to work on the film with us because he didn't really care for the subject matter, and that was Love and Quarantine, which kind of blew our minds. But nobody has walked off in a huff or overly scared.
Mm-hmm.
We fired a guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, Demon Fighter, first day he's supposed to play one of the bad guys, he shows up stoned.
Oh, that's dangerous.
And like, we know what stoned is. I'm a kid of the 60s.
I've seen it.
You know? I'm like, dude, what are you doing, man?
Just from videos, YouTube videos we watch. That's how.
Yeah.
It was just terrible. I told him, I said, do not touch the lady when you confront her. He touched her. I said, hey, look, man, we're going to do this again. Do not touch it. Finally, I said, okay, that's it. We're done. You got to go.
Yeah.
And he started to get tough.
Oh.
I said, really? I said, dude, you don't know who you're talking to and who's around here. I go, you know how many black belt martial artists are standing on this set right now?
Mm-hmm.
I go, and you want to start getting tough with us? Go home. He turned around and walked away.
Yeah.
I said, what an idiot. You know, because
that's a huge liability. Somebody that's, you know.
That's right.
Yeah, we don't do that. And we're big on that. We carry insurance on everything we do, including all the equipment. We had a guy who, unfortunately, he was doing BTS for us, behind the scenes shots, and he got too close on a rehearsal. The guy was swinging a big bat and clipped the end of his camera.
And to boot, we hadn't even started shooting the film yet.
This was the first day.
First day. And like David mentioned about Chelsea, the actress in the Crumbs, I picked her up from the airport in Sacramento. I'm driving back to set. And this photographer, David, calls me about it. He goes, well, I'm sure David called and told you what happened. Now my role more once we're shooting is, let's say, that of a producer. So when you get a phone call like that, your heart just skips a beat, right? I'm sure David called you and I thought, oh, here we go. And I said, no. He goes, well, my camera was shattered. And I'm going, oh, you got to be kidding me. And he wasn't insured. So it was,
it was his own fault. He tried to sue us. We actually gave him $1,000 that day to go rent a camera for his other clients. He had some other jobs he had to do. And I said, hey, man, we're with you, brother. Accidents happen. Don't worry about it. We gave him $1,000. And then he tried to sue us for his camera. Didn't work.
Yeah. Like we were talking about earlier, you plan to go and do a film.
Yeah.
You don't have in here still photographers' cameras gets jacked up first day. I mean, that's nowhere in your pre-planning.
Now it is.
Now it is.
Now it's like, show me proof of insurance for your equipment.
Yeah, that's a good.
That's where you're going. Right? Yeah. And, I should have done that at the beginning. My expertise was contracts. I understand the rules. Why I didn't insist on him showing us, he said he was a professional. We looked him up. He had a website, looked professional. We've just figured, of course he's got insurance. He's a professional. Duh.
Yeah.
Live and learn.
Another thing that you might do, this is something I learned from Heather, is all my team members on my paranormal team fill out a health form of all of their ailments, medications, contact information, anything that emergency workers would need, and it's sealed up in a sealed envelope. And
that's a great idea.
That's a good idea.
Yep.
And if they pass out and we have to call 911, you can hand the paramedics their envelope and say, this is what's going on with them.
Yep.
The only thing I fear is a big can of worms. We're talking about actors.
Oh, yeah.
We asked some actors, what do you like to eat? Well, I'm vegetarian and I don't eat anything but vegetarian food. So you have to get special food for me. And she was not kidding. And there's we can't just hire a caterer to feed everybody. It's got to be, and then there's this person, got to be special here, got to be special. And I don't mind doing that. But you got to be careful asking people about their.
And see, this is another great illustration why David works with actors better than myself. I said,
Oh God.
it would be so annoying saying, and we have this knucklehead. So
But yeah,
See, and
girl,
what's
here
funny
to
is-
let us enjoy. Yeah.
Yeah, is I grew up vegetarian and I just learned to eat what was there. I mean, I eat meat now,
Exactly,
but I just learned whatever
exactly.
you could find something with what's
You'll
available.
figure it out, right? Yes, I
Right.
agree. There's a salad
grew up-
that's lettuce. Knock
Yeah,
yourself
I
out.
grew up partially like that and didn't even know it. In a Mexican
Right.
family, you're eating rice and beans and stuff like that, chili, and it's all vegetables.
That's
Oh, that
right.
sounds good.
You know,
Yeah.
and I didn't realize it. You know, and occasionally we have some meat product, you know, some proteins, but most of the protein was in the vegetables we were eating.
Yeah.
So then all of a sudden vegetarian, I'm like, well, is that a certain kind of lettuce? You know,
What's the craziest thing any of your actors have wanted you to provide before they would sign on? Like something weird, like green M&Ms or something, or you know.
I'm going to say no.
no, I've not. I can't
Because
recall.
if anybody got squirrely like that, Philip, that's just a red flag. We
Yeah,
would
there's gonna
say
be trouble.
we need to go find somebody else because
Yeah.
because you're going to impact everybody else on set, cast and crew. And it's just too much to work to spend a couple of weeks with a pain in the ass like that. Nah, hell
Only
no.
get worse. Yeah.
Well,
Hell
we
no.
get scammers all the time. We had a guy come on set and he said, I'm a photographer. I really like what you guys are doing. I'll do your BTS for you. You don't owe me nothing. It'd be my pleasure. I want to just develop some relationships. Halfway
And
through
develop his portfolio.
Yeah, in his portfolio. Halfway through the shoot, no, about 3/4 of the way through the shoot, he comes up to me and he says, hey, look, I got these really great pictures. I want to share them with you. I said, oh, great. Let me give you my. He goes, but it's going to cost $2,000.
Oh, for Pete's sakes.
I said, get that off my set. He goes, what? I said, you didn't hear that clearly? Let me say it clearer. And pointed as I profaned him and told him to get off my set. And he said, well, I'm going to go talk to Craig. Craig knows. I go, oh, you want to talk to Craig? That's perfect. Come on. Let's go talk to Craig.
Let's see how this is going to go, Sparky.
That's like a kid saying, I'm going to go talk to
tell
mom.
Craig what you want to do. He tells Craig. Craig goes, get the blank off my set.
Yeah, it's just
That's why I love him. We got each other's back. Nobody's going to take advantage of us unless we want them to.
yeah. That's not cool.
No.
That's a good partnership. That's the way it should be. Oh, David, somebody asked earlier
Yep,
if that
Nicole
painting. Oh, yeah.
Which
Did
painting?
you paint that painting behind you?
Oh, actually, that's a this thing.
Can't see what it is
That's the
exactly.
eagle down the street. I don't know if you can see it. It's a poster.
No, I
That's
can't.
not one of my paintings.
Okay.
My paintings are all in the rest of the house except for my office.
Mm.
I have to. This is the only place I don't have to look at them.
Well, David, over your right shoulder is Demon Fighter also on the ground.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right here. This one.
Yeah, I like that picture. That's
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a cool picture and loving quarantine. So I haven't put them on the wall yet because, well, for the last year I've been busy getting infused. You know, a little bit.
yeah, that can take some time.
But other than that, no.
Do you have graphics people for you that design all that?
Yes.
You don't do any of that yourself?
No, I just do concept. I'll tell them what I'm looking for and why, and then they start putting it out. My nephew actually, Jerry Gonzalez, he did those for us.
Wow,
he's
that's
really
good.
good at it. And just because he's my nephew, that doesn't mean anything. He got
You better
paid.
give a discount though. I mean, come on.
No, I didn't get no discount. It was straight up. I believe in compensating people for their worth.
Mm-hmm.
You know, which is why Craig and I are broke. We're not worth anything to each other. But I mean,
it's feeding two big dogs back there. That's not cheap either.
Yeah, you can see my dogs back there.
They were. They've been.
Yeah, they come and go. You know, and yeah.
Yeah, they've been tearing up that bed. Yeah.
I've seen that too, Philip. And in a couple hours from now, I'll be in that bed. What does that tell you, huh?
I'm hoping not with the dogs.
Well, actually, Riley, she just came back. She's going to hop up, I'm sure, in a second.
Yeah.
My husband and Doberman have beds on the other side of my bed. And I'll start off in bed, and about 2 in the morning or 3, I guess she gets cold and jumps up. When you're a single guy living with dogs, I don't think you stay out.
Okay, you want to stop that? You don't want to go any further with that?
No. Once you start something, man, you can't see. I knew Philip could relate because you don't start off dysfunctional. You just eventually end up there, and other people realize saying, "Hey, this guy's a little bit jacked up." They come back to saying, "We make paranormal films. What part of that don't you get?" So
Exactly.
it goes with the territory.
I live with the dogs. They don't live with me.
There you go.
Yeah.
Who's walking who, right?
No, yeah. Oh, they're too lazy to walk. Forget that.
My neighbor, where I live, they always walking their dogs and picking up poop off the lawn.
Yeah.
And I told him, I says, "Hey, you ever wonder what your dog thinks about you doing that?"
Exactly.
I go, "Can you imagine the dog's talking about it? Hey, man, I did a big old pile for my guy today." And the other one said, "Yeah, but he don't love you as much as me. I just make him little bitty ones."
I just saw your counter. I know that you had said, Heather, you have somebody else coming on, and it's after 10 o'clock your time.
Oh, no,
So-
we're good. We don't have anyone coming on after you anymore.
Oh,
What time is it?
Yeah. So I just figured you guys only had an hour, so we were trying to figure someone to come on after you guys, but we were good.
Oh,
okay.
And it's my fault. I had a phone appointment, and I'm supposed to be calling him. Actually, it's pretty cool. Let me tell you about it real quickly because I do got to call him. I got asked if I'm interested in directing a comic book movie, but done live action.
Oh, wow.
They don't want to do what has been customarily with these superheroes. He wants real acting. He wants real emotion, that kind of stuff. So they sent me the script today. I've already gone through most of it, and we're going to meet again tomorrow. And that's the guy I'm supposed to call. He just wants to talk about the characters real quick. I said, "Yeah, no biggie." He said, "Just about 15, 20 minutes." And I said, "Yeah, okay. No big deal." I told him, "I got an appointment, but I'll call you right after the appointment." He said, "I'll wait." I said, "It might be a little bit after 7." He says, "No problem." So yeah, the guy's name is Terry Hall. He's in Chicago. He owns a radio station. He's a radio personality over there, and he's done a couple TV shows and some other stuff. Well, he's got this script. We met on Facebook. He saw our films and he liked us, and we started talking. And he said, "Hey, I'd really like you to direct this film." I said, "Well, send me the script. Let me look at it. It has to be redone as a shooting script. The shooting script is different, how you put it together. Basically, you take it apart and reorganize it.
Yeah.
And, we do pretty heavy planning, like I said. So I won't bore you with all that, but
No problem.
What is beneficial for me as an only child, where growing up everything was all about me, that David going through and writing this, he's going to write in a role for me as an old superhero on the downside, like his golden years are behind him. So no, I'm probably being a jerk off.
No, actually, we're going to call him Kane, Kane, and he's going to walk around with a cane. But that cane is going to be
a magical cane.
Yes, and he can fight with it.
I can fly with it.
Hey, if Harrison Ford can do Raiders of the Lost,
right.
45, whatever that last one was.
That's right.
Please, we can do anything.
Right. It's fairy dust magic.
It is.
Look
All
at me,
the
I was
CGI
25 with my filter. Yeah.
But thank you guys very much for having us. This was I'm speaking for David. I know we'd like to come back, and I really meant this. Hear about your story. And Heather, you said some interesting things at the top. We'd like to hear more about your world, and I think that's going to be actually more entertaining than what we talked about on our side.
Exactly, and I do have some ideas that I want to run by you guys too. So I'll definitely be in touch afterwards.
Please do.
Yep.
Well,
please
Philip,
do. We had a great time.
I understand you have the ability to
talk to dead
see
people.
Things.
Yeah.
I had somebody riding home with me from work today, and I'm like, "What do you want?"
See, that's what I mean. Your audience is saying you should have got rid of these guys 45 minutes ago and talk about, you know, what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
I mean,
we'll
that's what I'd
definitely
like
have you
to-
guys back on and we can turn the tables then.
Yes.
That sounds
Yeah,
great.
we'd love that.
You may be afraid to make your next scary movie though after you hear some of our stories. You know,
Well, that's
Great if you pick it up.
or we could give you ideas for stories. I got some of those doozies. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. I know the perfect haunting too that we handled in Vegas. So, and it would make for a great scary story.
Oh yeah.
Right on.
Well, I thought everything stays there.
It does, but it doesn't. If you've read one of my latest books, that's all laid out in there.
Oh, that's cool.
A friend of mine went to Vegas with a buddy of his, and his wife said, "Make sure you leave everything in Vegas. I don't want you bringing home anything." I said, "Whoa, she told you that?" He goes, "Yeah."
That's
I go,
funny.
"What'd you do?" He goes, "I didn't go." I said, "No, right on. She was on to you, huh?"
Trying to say that's kind of giving permission, isn't it? But yeah,
No, I think that was a threat.
yeah.
He took
Oh,
it.
like,
as
you
one-
better stay in Vegas. If
Yeah,
you're
that's
gonna
right.
stay.
If you catch him, you stay there, buddy. Yeah, no, that's crazy. You don't stay married very long if you have that kind of an attitude.
No.
Mhm.
You know, a commitment is exactly that. Nothing less and nothing more.
Yeah.
It's like committing yourself to your faith or to your projects or whatever it is.
Mhm.
You see it come hell or high water, and that's that.
Yeah.
Amen. Well, folks, have a blessed rest of your evening. Thank you so much. And we'll look forward to you guys reaching out and going round 2.
And please watch our
Sure.
films if you get a chance, or tell people to.
Yep. And I'll make sure I share all the links too on our Facebook page.
Well,
Beautiful.
Craig, have you sent the link tree to them?
Yes.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Yeah. And
I'll send it again, and Philip, maybe Heather, you can send me Philip's information, and I'll send you also the link to all of our films.
Okay. Yep.
now, here's a caveat: you don't have to like them. You just have
Not
to
at
watch.
all. Not at all. It's art. And David taught me a long time ago when I used to cop an attitude. When somebody would give us a negative review, it's art. It's very subjective. So
Yeah.
there you go.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I paint stuff. People go, "What is that?" And I go, "Well, obviously it's a flower." And they go, "Oh, really?"
Yeah, like
Really?
this.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Well, have a great rest of your Wednesday evening.
Thank you.
Sounds good.
Have a good night.
Take
Thank
care.
you so much.
You
Good night,
too.
guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay. Perfect. I think David's backstage, but it looks like he froze.
Oh,
There he goes. Oh, but that was a great conversation.
Oh my gosh,
Definitely.
right.
I'm kind of curious as what questions they had for us.
yeah. But boy, what a world. Movie making. Gosh.
Mhm. Yeah.
Can't imagine working with some of those actors that are, prima donnas in their own minds. Can't imagine.
Yes.
Well, it's like the paranormal world. We know some of those people too. Legends in their own minds.
No, way too many. Actually, it was funny. I've been meaning to tell you, and I know we're still live, but oh well. Someone reached out to me and asked me to write a tell-all book for my experiences in the paranormal.
Well,
I've seriously been thinking about it.
some people probably pay you not to write it. Those people that you will be writing about.
I
Not
thought about
mentioning
that. I
any
was like, ooh.
names. Yeah.
It's like, who's going to be scared and who's going to be happy?
Yeah.
Oh, but anyway, I'll definitely reach out to them and get them on again after the first of the year. I know I have a couple
Mhm.
panels already set up and then a couple presentations already set up. So they'll probably, I'm thinking February-ish is when we
Okay.
have a room for a guest.
Sounds good. Sounds
So-
good.
But
Yeah.
I guess we're going to cut it short unless there was something you wanted to say.
Can't think of anything. What's on for our next presentation?
We have October 11th. The haunted librarian is joining us. She is going to talk about hosting a haunted house experience. And I think she's also going to include like the legalities
Oh wow,
of
that's good.
hosting haunted houses. So
I
she's
bet.
going to be doing that. And then we have you October 25th. I have no
Oh.
idea what your presentation is.
I've got to get working. I've got the outline. It's on spirit rescue mediumship, but
Okay.
I've got the outline done. It's putting it together. So yeah, on October 10th. I don't think there's anybody on our show other than my teammates that are in Georgia, but I'll be doing Paranormal 101 at the Rose Creek Library in Woodstock, Georgia at 5 o'clock on October 10.
Okay. And I need to look at the calendar because I know I'm hosting a similar presentation in a 3-hour class format on October 9th.
I'd like to do
TMCC
that.
online.
Wish I could afford that. Good for you.
I have no idea what they're charging for it. And Nicole wants to know when you'll be on her show.
Oh gosh, we'll have to figure out a calendar schedule.
Yep. And Sandra, I will one day tell everything. I'm just waiting for the right time.
I already know some of it.
I know. If only people knew what I know. It's
well, some of them know some of it and still won't accept it or believe it. That's what gets me. But
exactly. Yeah, it is what it is.
People get brainwashed, and wolves in sheep's clothing. Okay. We could go on.
Oh yeah. Might as well end this before we accidentally slip something out.
I know. Bite my tongue.
But everyone, you can follow us at Ghost Education 101. And then we also have the replay on our YouTube channel at Ghost Education 101, which we also air live too. I know several of you are watching live from YouTube. So thank you for watching us. Several new people too today.
Oh, good.
So that was kind of nice to see a whole bunch of new people watching in from YouTube. So that's starting to get some momentum. But yeah, I think I've covered everything.
Crazy, but we are fun and educational at the same time.
Yep. And I'm looking forward to, I think I have a setup to where we're going to take December off.
Yeah.
Just to have a break.
Yeah. Yep. Work and all that stuff.
Yep. But then we'll be back January with returning to the old format where it's a presentation, a panel discussion, and then a guest. So we'll kind of rotate along that line. So that I'm looking forward to that. Actually, I do have one. I think there's 6 of us already, but we're doing a special presentation or a special panel discussion on women in the paranormal.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I want to do one with psychics and the paranormal.
Yeah. Yeah, people really miss the panels and the discussion panel. So that's good. And anybody watching that doesn't know, I mean, we've got videos going back for 3 years, and some of our early ones are the basics of paranormal investigating. So scroll all the way back and look. I mean, we're just adding a new. I think I do have.
I'm looking at it real quick. I know because I was running low on ideas for the rest of this year. I think I have it to where we're going to redo one of your old presentations.
Which one?
And my computer's going so slow right now. I want to say it was either equipment or Help My House is Haunted.
Okay. Yeah, Help My House is on it. Our procedures and protocols.
Redo of residual and intelligent hauntings.
Okay. So. Yeah, whatever people want. I mean, we can ask if like, what do you want to hear? What do you want to see? Yeah.
Yeah, I'll put a thing out. I do know we have the Haunted Library in your presentation, and actually November 8th is when I have the mediumship and residential cases. I have you, Katie, and then so far Catherine Sorlilos from Greece.
Oh, wow. I don't know who that is.
It's going to be on. Okay. Yeah, I've worked with her for years. She's amazing. And then Nicole, I will reach out because I know Nicole has also done psychic work as well. Mm-hmm. But I have a few others that I'm waiting to hear back from. So if there's still a spot on there.
Okay.
So, but yeah.
Sounds good.
Yep. And then off for December. And then we return back in January. And I don't know who our special guest for January 3rd will be, but Karen is going to do a presentation on Ouija boards on the 17th. Yeah. Yep. And then the women of the paranormal.
Have you reached out to the psychologist yet about the paranormal trauma?
No, not yet.
Okay, because he would be a really interesting interview that helps people who experienced paranormal phenomena that created, trauma for them. You know, not like us, we're used to it. If something paranormal happens to someone that's not looking for it or expecting it or knows anything about it, you know, that can be quite traumatic.
Yep.
Especially if
Yeah,
it goes
no.
against everything they've ever learned or been taught before, you know.
Yeah, I want to talk to him about PTSD as an investigator and dealing with other investigators.
Yes, that would be excellent. An excellent show.
Okay. So yeah, so that's all I have for today.
Well, great. I'm gonna go relax because
Okay.
it's 10:21 here in hot Atlanta, Georgia, where it's turned fall today. My voice keeps trying to leave me.
Oh yeah, no, we're not fall yet here. So, but yeah, I gotta get up way early for work. They're training me on how to intake shipments.
Ooh. You
Woohoo.
open the back door.
Let the UPS
Say,
guy
"Bring the
in.
pallets over here."
Yep. Okay. Well, thank you again, Philip, for a great show, and thank you everyone for
you.
watching. We will see
Thank
you
you
in
all.
2 weeks when we're back with the Haunted Librarian. So we'll see you guys then.
Yay, and happy Halloween season.
Bye.